There are these 4 stages of the embryological cycle that only somebody today with a microscope could have known about. How could a prophet or someone with no scientific knowledge, he could even read and write, how could he have known something that specific, that particular, in the 7th century? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, I mean, if you read the Quran and you read Surah Al-Mulk, which is the 23rd chapter of the Quran, verses 12 to 14, and we read we created...
Let's do that again. Chapter 23, verse 12 to 14 is where it is first listed. Go ahead.
Yeah. And we read there, we created man from an extract of clay. Then we made him as a drop in a place of settlement firmly fixed.
Nectar out of clay, drop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then we made the drop into an alaka. Then we made the alaka into a mugga, which means chewed substance.
Okay.
And so the word alaka can mean leech, it can mean suspended thing, or it can mean blood clot. And so basically, what Muslims have argued is they typically make these drawings of the embryo looking somewhat like a leech or something like that. There's a popular Islamic apologetics book called A Brief Illustrated Guide to Understanding Islam, and they have a leech which is compared with the human embryo. I think the drawings are highly exaggerated. I don't think it really looks like that.
Professor Keith Moore is one of the world's prominent scientists in the fields of anatomy and embryology, and is the author of the book entitled The Developing Human, which has been translated into 8 languages. The book is considered a scientific reference work and was chosen by the Special Committee in the United States as the best book authorized by one person. Dr. Keith Moore is the professor of anatomy and cell biology at the University of Toronto in Toronto, Canada. In 1984, he received the most distinguished award presented in the field of anatomy in Canada, the JCB Grant Award from the Canadian Association of Anatomists. He has directed many international associations, such as the Canadian and American Association of Anatomists and the Council of the Union of Biological Sciences. Let's now listen to what Professor Keith Moore has to say.
Is the alaka stage. This second or shaping stage begins as the alaka, which is an Arabic word meaning a leech. And when I was first asked about this, did the human embryo look like a leech? And when I thought about this for a few minutes, I realized that it resembled the leech very closely, as you will see. During the early stage, the embryo loses its rounded shape and elongates until it takes the shape of a leech. And this picture here, I went over to our library and got out a book on leeches and had my artist draw that exactly from the textbook showing a leech. And here's a human embryo here, and they're on the 21, 22 days. And I think you have to agree that they look very much alike. In fact, you see that the leech has segments, just like a worm, and the human embryo has these same segments. In fact, we still have a remnant of those segments in our bodies. If any of you have ever had shingles, ever heard of anyone having shingles, you always get the eruptions and bands across the area that's infected, and those bands are the remnants of those segments. So this is what I believe to be the leech-like appearance of the human embryo. And I believe in my descriptions in my book, I talk about it having a leech-like appearance. The similarity between the embryo and a leech is amazing. The embryo is attached to the wall of the chorionic sac, which is attached by chorionic villi to the endometrium or lining of the uterus. And so the human embryo is attached to the lining of the uterus, just like a leech will attach to your skin. I don't know whether you have leeches here or not, but we have certain lakes in Canada. If you go in swimming, these leeches will attach to your skin and suck the blood. So the analogy there is quite amazing. Initially, the embryo acquires a primitive circulatory and nervous system during this early stage. Thus, the term alaka refers to the leech-like external appearance of the embryo, as well as to its clinging relationship to the uterus, and is an appropriately descriptive term for this stage.